Hello, strong people. Week 2, day 2 of Iron Grizzly Classic Prep. It's deadlift day. I like deadlifts. And sandbags. I'm starting to like... It's a love-hate relationship with sandbags. They're kind of fun to train. I'm not great at them, but I don't think they're a great way to test strength. I understand strongman combines a lot of different elements of strength sports, but throwing is like one of those things where I'm like, it's still fun to do. I'm just getting tired of doing it. I didn't do it for like 12 competitions in a row, and then I've had it in like 12 might be over exaggerating, like 10 maybe, and then last 4 or 5, it's been in like almost all of them. Just about all of them. But I've been able to make progress doing that. But anyway, so we got some sets of 5 on sandbag toss, I believe, which sucks for me because I left my yoke loaded from the other night. So there's like 700 pounds of weight on there that I got to move. It's my own fault. Meaning I got to move. I'm not going to carry it out there with 800 and some pounds on it just to throw sandbags over. So I'm going to unload it, throw the empty yoke out there, do the rest of my setup, and move on from there. Deadlifts, 5 sets of 2 between 600 and 650. So I'm obviously going to be aiming for the 650. It's going to end up being like 653 if I get there. I feel good, but we'll see. I'm also going to move off of this deadlift platform. I'm going to have to move all my new jerk blocks out of the way. Because that platform is just, for me, deadlifting in it over the last few years, it's got little divots in it, and the weights kind of go all over, and it's just not ideal for deadlifting. I need to, eventually, I'd like to replace the, either the mats or the wood under it's probably compressed a little bit, so I'd have to pull up everything, replace the plywood, and then kind of go from there. But I'm going to move my jerk blocks out of the way and pull over here on the front, the big platform, because it's still pretty level. So I'm excited. So I don't want to talk too much more. I want to get my workout going. So let's do a little warm up and then start sending some sandbags to the moon. All right, sandbag toss done. Felt good. It was supposed to be light today, and I kind of forgot. Those bags are each 35 pounds. It was supposed to be 25 today, but 25 is light. It's so light that I can make a really bad mistake and still launch that over pretty easily. 35 is still almost in that territory now. But if I mess up trajectory-wise or whatever, 35 still might not go over. It's not flawless because I messed up one of the throws, of course. But when I get to like the 45, 50, like if I do anything wrong on those ones, it's probably not going to go over, especially 50. 55 is just, I think I've only thrown 60 over. It's either 1 or 3 times. I do not remember, and I don't remember why I don't remember. I remember the first time I did it, I like freaked out. I was like, oh my God, I threw 60 pounds over. But I'm very happy with that. I don't even remember what the weights are for this show, for this. I feel like it's only 4 bags. 30, 35, 40, 45 maybe? So that's going to have to be a fast run, because my buddy is very fast at sandbags. He's better throw than me. But in that, from 30 to 45 like that, I think I could compete, because it's not so much about like maximum, it's not a max weight over. I think I'd get smoked in that, and I have before. So yeah, I'd be better now, but I don't think I could beat him in a max height or a max weight. So in this situation where it's 4 lighter bags over 15, there's a chance, but I'm going to have to really push it. So it's a little bit hard to do. Obviously, I can't do a full run. I only have 2 bags, but I'd like to get down to, my coach wants me to go down to Area 56 and get a full run in on the bags, or 580 or whatever. I think 580 has a full run of bags. Well, I know 580 does, and they're closer, so I don't really know. I need to get down there and train like sled pull and stuff too before before our game day, because sled pull, I could lose some points in that for sure. Sandbag toss, I could lose points in. I could lose points in anything, if I mess up. So that's just how strongman goes. If you mess up one event, you're probably screwed for the most part. So having a well-executed show and still losing is okay in my opinion. Not okay, I don't like losing, but if I'm going to lose, I at least want to put in a good effort and execute all the events well. So I'll take that over, I don't know, I guess I'll take that over a losing show and just doing bad, just messing up every event, because nobody wants to do that. But I've talked enough. My low back is a little bit funky today. It just feels a little tired, a little sore almost. But we're going to deadlift and just see what happens. If it feels really bad, I'm going to call it. I hope not, of course, but only one way to find out. Let's start some pulling. All right. That went a lot better than last week. So I think that's for a couple reasons. One, I'm back into programming. I have a comp to train for. It's just when I'm in prep, I just feel so much more locked in. It's not that I don't like off season. It's just like, and I've mentioned this before, I think, but and I know it's not true, but I just feel this way. When I'm in off season, I feel like I don't have a concrete goal other than just like get better or whatever. Like this one was a squat, get better at. Obviously, it didn't really happen the way I wanted it to with the injury, but in my mind, that's like an abstract goal almost. Like yes, you can physically see yourself getting better, but it's not like a competition where I get to compete against other people, that's very redundant. That's a competition. But I don't know. There's something about off-season versus competition prep that they're just two completely different mindsets for me, and it's honestly a problem whenever it comes to off-season, because I need to be thinking the same way. but it's hard to get in the groove there. Plus the injury, whatever. And I really felt like I was starting to get like just fatigued constantly, which could contribute to the injury, which I think I've mentioned before. But anyway, so back into prep, got a concrete goal to work towards. And that CPAP, dude, it's incredible. It's cheating, it feels like. Like, I feel like I could do 6 more doubles at that if I wanted to. I don't think I actually could, but they started moving a little bit slower there at the end. So, but 6, I was looking back at Olympic City prep, actually, because we had a max axle there. And a few weeks out from the show, I did one of my warm-ups. On the day, it was, the sets were like 7:13. It was probably 7:10 or whatever for 5 singles. And I was looking at my warm-ups that day, and I pulled 6:58 for I think it was my last warm-up. And it was not good. Compared to what I just did there, those moved so much better than what that did. So, I mean, that tells me that, and I ended up pulling, 775 that day at Olympic City. So, I'm not saying I'm going to pull 800 raw on this foo bar. I hope I don't have to go that heavy. Well, I do. If I get pushed there, that's awesome, because that means my buddy's pulling some huge numbers too. So, and whoever else there, I don't know everybody, so there could be a complete dark horse I don't know about. But I am on a good pace. I know I don't have, a full prep under my belt. But with how this felt today, and just my energy levels feeling like they're through the roof recently, I'm confident now. I was a little bit, something else that I really thought about. So, and this was, I got this from thinking about some of Mitchell Hooper's videos. He mentions increasing toe pressure to increase quad activation. He says it in a lot more more sciencey way probably. But anyway, what I've been trying to think and trying to do in my movements where I need to be explosive, meaning squats. Oh God, I think I have squats after this. I forgot about that. Oh, that sucks. But I'm trying to press into my toes. When I push into my toes, I feel my whole legs activate, quads, everything. Because that's how you jump, obviously, when you springboard off of your toes. They're the last things to leave the floor. So you obviously have to push into your toes when you jump. So, and a good beginner tip for deadlifts is stand in the position where you're gonna jump. Now it's not it's not exact. Obviously, there's a lot of different deadlift stances out there, like sumo. Obviously, not gonna work. But in general, that's like a decent tip to give a beginner as far as where to stand for a deadlift. So, when I jump, which isn't very often, but I'm pretty narrow, and that's just not going to fly on deadlifts necessarily for me. So, but anyway, the big thing, what he talks about in his deadlifts is pushing off the floor with your feet, like the top of your feet, and then as you're clearing your knees, kind of lean back and get your hips through. I could be misquoting that entirely, but in my mind, it felt pretty good. So I feel like I got a lot more pop off the floor tonight than I normally would. Lockout's still a little funky, but I'm trying to make it difficult because I'm adding the tape. I'm not wearing leggings. I'm not using baby powder. I'm not using any of the stuff that would help it slide. So I'm trying to make the lockout difficult. But I was very happy with the floor speed tonight. So that's kind of what I was going for. Also, it's helping in sandbag toss. I think it's helping in my press, along with locking in like the upper neck traps area. So I'm happy with that. I think I have RDLs next, unfortunately. I really don't like RDLs. I'm going to keep them light because I want to feel them in my hamstrings. And if I go too heavy, I seem to it turns into a low back exercise, and we don't want that right now. So let's move on to RDLs. Let me do a set of my reverse hypers and then we'll chat. Oh, I really needed these tonight. Felt it. Especially because it was just, my low back was feeling a little wonky tonight. Not any pain. It's a weird feeling. I don't really know how to describe it, but it's not one that is uncommon in my lifting history. So anyway, just to recap everything, because this is going to be the last part of the video. I'll at least recap everything that I put on video tonight. Sandbag toss, good. Feels like I never left it, which is great. Because if I lost the feel for that, I'd be so mad. Just because it took me so long to get where I'm at in it. Well, not, horribly long, but long. So I'm happy with that. Deadlift's pretty happy with. Slowed down a little bit towards the end, but it's, I don't know, I don't want to say it's to be expected, but it's a little bit to be expected because this is still only my second week back on a straight bar after not pulling on a straight bar for a long time. I had that one session where I pulled like 500 for a few sets of like 3, but that was not really, anything special. But that went good. RDLs, they were fine. For whatever reason, they felt way better tonight. I didn't go super heavy. It was like what was on there then? 298? I think so. Yeah. I think so. Yeah, 298. Felt good. I probably should have gone a little bit heavier. I probably could have thrown on that, my knee popped there. Probably could have thrown on that third plate. But it did what I needed it to do. It fried my hamstrings. For me, slow and controlled feels so much better doing RDLs. When I get too heavy and I throw on a belt and all that, it just turns into low back exercise. I need to keep that fairly light. And I want to progressively build it with that solid technique. So I want to be able to do, 500-pound RDLs with good form. Because right now, I think I've done that before. I know I've done like mid-4s, but it's just not good RDL form. I don't feel it where I need to feel it. It just doesn't hit the way it should. So that's something to work on for sure. And squats felt all right. I'm very happy with that. I actually lowered the box ever so slightly during warm-ups, I think. Still a high box, but that's kind of what we're going for, I don't need like full depth necessarily. And focusing on pushing through my toes, it lights up my quads like crazy. And I'm staying a lot more vertical. I'm coming straight up instead of hips back and then up. I'm sitting down into the squat instead of backing down. And I don't know if that's the way to move the most weight, but to get better at what I want to get better at, and that's driving through my quads, I need to squat the way I'm squatting, I think. Pressure in the toes, pushing through my legs. It's actually kind of crazy to me because I've never really felt squats in my quads. I just never have. It's always been a hamstring glute thing. So for me to be able to feel a squat in my quads and explode through my quads, which is something I think I've lacked for a long time. I don't think I've had that mind-muscle connection to my quads. It's always just felt like they were just kind of there. It's crazy to feel that. I'm loving it. Anyway, very happy with how that's feeling. All right, let's do another set here and I'll stop rambling. Oh yeah, that's good. This floor is very cold on my legs. It got really cold there for a little bit. Anyway, I've been out here too long, which is pretty typical. So, I'm gonna call her a day. I am feeling so much better. It's amazing. Usually right now I'd just be absolutely done. And I still feel pretty good. I don't know if that means I need to go harder in my sessions or if that's just how you're supposed to feel. I don't really know. So time will tell as I get more used to feeling like this. If I can push harder during sessions, I will. But I like feeling the way I'm feeling. So until next time, go out, get strong, stay strong, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.